The Battle of Sherramuir is a song written by the Scottish poet Robert Burns about the Battle of Sheriffmuir, which occurred in Scotland in 1715, at the height of the Jacobite rebellion in England and Scotland. It was written when Burns toured the Highlands in 1787 and first published in the Scots Musical Museum, 1790. It was written to be sung to the Cameronian Rant. The song was written as an adaptation of a broadside by John Barclay called Dialogue between Will Lick-Ladle and Tom Clean-Cogue. Burns knew that the Battle of Sheriffmuir had ended so inconclusively that it was unclear which side had won. The knowledge formed the basis for the theme of the song, which is written as an account of the battle by two shepherds taking contrary views of the events that unfolded. One of the shepherds believes that the red-coat lads why black cockades routed the rebels, painting a fearful picture of how they managed to half the clans like 9 Pink Isles. The other shepherd is just as convinced that the Jacobites did pursue the horsemen back to Fourth Man, with the eventual result that mony a hunted poor redcoat for fear amorous did Swarth Man. The original manuscript of the Battle of Sherramuir, dissatisfied with the first published version of the song, Burns revised and reread it sometime after 1790. The revised version was published after his death by his editor, James Curry M.D., in the Complete Poetical Works of Robert Burns, with explanatory and glossarial notes, and a life of the author. It is the revised version of the song, published by Curry, that is regarded as the definitive version of the song. Until recently, the source used by James Curry to publish the revised version of the song was unclear. Equally, the academic James Kinsley did not disclose the source for his analysis of the differences between the original and revised definitive version. In July 2007, the original manuscript containing Burns' revisions and amendments resurfaced in the manuscript collection of the renowned Swiss manuscript collector Alban Schramm. The manuscript was included as one of the most significant items in the auction of the Alban Schramm collection of autograph letters at Christie's in London, which took place on the 3rd of July 2007. It was acquired by an anonymous collector. Burns' revisions. The manuscript, in Burns' clear hand, also contained written notes by Curry, thereby proving its provenance. The justification for the publication by Curry of all of Burns' revisions are contained in the manuscript. Burns dropped the chorus line of the original and made significant changes to stanza 5 and stanza 6. In the revised stanza 5, the more skeptical of the two shepherds blames the Angus lads for being too fond of the wooden bowls of porridge cogs o' bros to risk death. In battle, the Angus lads had no goodwill that day, the knee-bores blued to spill, for fear, by foes, that they should lose their cogs o' bros, all crying woes, and so it goes, you see, man. The last two lines are evidence of Burns' alteration of the original stanza 5, which read, their cogs o' bros, they scarred at blows, and homeward fast did flee, man. In stanza 6, Burns changed the original lines, Lord Panmure is slain, or in his enemy's hands, man, to negate the more general observation about enemies, to provide a much more specific account, or fallen in Whiggish hands, man. Quote, the Scottish Tories gave their lives, while Whigs ran away, is the final wry observation, enlarged from 3 lines to 4. Then ye may tell, how Pell Mell, by red claymores and muskets knell, widding yell, how Tories fell, and Whigs to hell, flew off in frighted bands, man. Quote, However, a penstroke through these very lines indicates Burns' dissatisfaction with them, and his earlier three-line version is allowed to stand on the final page, say, pell-mell, why muskets null, how Tories fell, and Whigs to hell, flew off in frighted bands, man. The manuscript shows that Curry adopted the new four-line version in the editions he published from 1800 onwards, despite the fact that Burns had rejected it. He also adopted the title used in his own endorsement, omitted one of the best lines in stanza 2, and made minor corrections. There are other deleted lines or half-lines where Burns contemplated changes. On the one hand, some deletions and insertions seem to result from Burns' writing in haste and either miscopying or misremembering the original. All of the variations between the original version published in the Scottish Musical Museum and a definitive version published by Curry after Burns' death, including punctuation, are noted in James Kinsley's modern scholarly edition of the Poems and Songs. Kinsley, however, omits to note that it was this manuscript, drafted by Burns, which led to the definitive version of the song published by James Curry. Acquisition of the manuscript by the National Library of Scotland. On the 23rd of February 2009, the manuscript was acquired by the National Library of Scotland from Adams Hamilton, the Washington, D.C. based literary and historical manuscript dealers. It was on display from 24–25 February 2009 at a Burns Symposium in the U.S. Capitol's Library of Congress. Kate Newton, Director of Collections and Research, said, "We are delighted to acquire the only known manuscript of the Battle of Sherramuir." Alex Salmond, the First Minister, who saw the manuscript at Symposium, said, "I'm delighted that this unique piece of Burns' history will be coming home to Scotland in this, the 250th anniversary year of our national bard."